Syria returns to peace, will the British government force them to go back to Syria, or will they stay here forever? As a British taxpayer, will I be requested to subsidize for a new Syrian population in this country?
Put aside the numbers, and they could be dismissed as irrelevant or tokenism. I'm surprised that you don't think we should take in refugees from Syria who are living in the most appalling conditions. I mean, you say they should go to Saudi Arabia. Secular Syrians couldn't go to Saudi Arabia. Jordan's already full of refugees, and Egypt's in no condition to take anybody. It could be on the brink of its own civil war.
But I believe there are also Arab countries who should take more refugees, like Lebanon, North Africa, which the main concern here is the cultural barrier that the Syrian and the Arab, when they come to England or to the West, how they will adapt to the new culture. It's a new country for them. There is a barrier of language.
We take refugees in all the time, and they learn English over time, if not the first, the second generation. I mean, we've done it before on a grand scale.
Yeah, but I mean, here the situation of the Syrian people is very different and peculiar given what's happening in Syria. These people are already traumatized. They feel they have been deported, or they left their own countries.
They've been displaced.
And they are displaced, and they are living in a very inferior situation, especially in Arab countries, and alienating them more into a Western country which doesn't speak the same language, where the culture is different, will alienate them more, and they will be more traumatized.
To live in Saudi Arabia?
If I was in the situation of the Syrian refugees, I would prefer to stay in more Arab countries, in more Muslim countries.
Not drive a car, not dress the way you're dressed? No rights?
But now there are Syrian people in the refugees camp who are living in a very miserable situation, and you can't be choosy and picky when you have such a situation. There is another fear, actually, which I fear, and many Syrians and Arab maybe have the same problem, is more regulations, immigration regulation to be given to Syrian refugees. More Syrians will leave out of Syria, so we will have more Syrian leaving Syria, and then gradually Syrian cause will vanish. Yeah. Like and this is what happened in Afghanistan and in Iraq and in Somalia.
Didn't happen
many
in Palestine.
It happened, yeah, but still the Palestinian refugees are living in an Arab country on travel documents who have no right to enter some Arab countries like Dubai and Saudi Arabia.
Cause didn't slacken, that's...
But they never will go back home. I mean, yes, the Palestinians never go back to Palestine. I mean, the refugees who left 1948.
Palestinian cause is more alive than it's ever been. Why would other countries taking refugees damage this?
And maybe there are cases of Syrian refugees who have very medical circumstances, and they lost their limbs, and they should come to England, and then maybe...
Oh, you think some should come?
Yeah, the very serious medical situation. But
that's
we should make sure they go back to Syria. Otherwise...
That's up to them in the end, is it not? If you invite people in as refugees, in the end they have a decision to stay here, become citizens.
But if you give options to Syrians to stay in the West or stay in Syria, I mean, they will leave, and then Syria will end up like a battlefield.